tonight with developments at the Tema Port. Of course, today was supposed to be the pilot for the paperless system, and freight forwarders have been demonstrating at the Tema Port in protest against what they deem challenges with the paperless system. The pilot implementation kick-started today ahead of the full rollout next month. This is after an earlier suspension partly attributed to the turf war between the two technical operators, that is GCNet and Westpool. Players such as ship owners and agents have welcomed the system, but freight forwarders are kicking against it. According to them, it is unduly fraught with challenges which they cannot help but agitate against, especially because their peak season has already kicked in.
It takes me 3 days. 3 days to get to it's going to take us 4 hours to
Well, that was the scene earlier today at the Tema Port. You saw those freight forwarders there agitated. It was supposed to be the first day of the implementation of the pilot paperless system. Well, the president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Kwabena Ofosu-Appiah, led the protest. According to him, the agitation is coming several months after all efforts to get their concerns addressed proved futile.
Talked about is what it is that we know in reference to the port efficiency policy statements that have been that were issued by the vice president. Well, contrary to popular opinion, we are very much in love with this paperless situation that is coming up. The problem we have is that the foundation, right, the basis for this thing is now in a bit of a turmoil. You understand? Prior to just about 3 months ago, right, issuance of CCVR, which is the classification and valuation report, right, was being issued under 48 hours. As we speak now, this is taking about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if this is the basis, which is the upstream situation, in what we do, then we are not on a good landing. You understand? So this thing would have to be done right before really this paperless thing can take off. But to let you know, and I want you to quote me on this one, that we love this paperless situation. Is the best thing that would have happened to our industry. But we do not want this to start on a wrong foot.
But as leaders, have you approached the government?
We have approached several, and we've been everywhere. We've been to national security, told them what the situation is. We have been to the Commissioner of Customs. We have been to the, the Ministry of Finance. We have told them what the situation is. And it doesn't take much to know that. I'm sure the Commissioner of Customs knows the situation very well, because this is under his purview. You understand? So, that is the situation.
So what will be your next step, your next action, if this protest proves futile?
Well, we have called some attention to ourselves, as you can see, and we think we are going to be invited to sit down and figure out the way forward. What we are saying that if there's nothing much that has to be done, the TSB will have to be retooled to make sure they are churning out the CCVR under 48 hours. If this was happening, believe me, we wouldn't get to this.
Thank you.
So those were the developments at the Tema Port. We are trying to get in touch with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to get an explanation as to what unfolded today, how the paperless system went, and the challenges that the freight forwarders were talking about. While we try to do that, we want to move on to another story we are following for you today. Government is beginning a process to redirect the focus of the National Investment Bank, NIB, to support its industrialization agenda. According to the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, who disclosed this, the bank is now to be used as a financing vehicle to promote local industries. He revealed this during the swearing-in of board members of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, NBSSI.
NIB's transformation into an industrial development bank is to enable government have a key tool for industrial development in managing funds set aside to support the sector, as well as complement the work of Exim Bank Ghana. Minister of Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin disclosed in Accra when he swore in an 8-member board of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, NBSSI.
Is for us to refocus the operations of the National Investment Bank, for them to now start looking at not just the bank as a universal bank, but more as an industrial development bank. Many of you may not be aware of the fact that the original NIB mandate was to stimulate industrial development. So companies like Nestle were actually started with the participation of NIB, and want to get back to where we were when NIB was started. The third component of this pillar of our transformation agenda is for us to establish a $2 billion industrial development fund. $2 billion industrial development fund, which government will use as a vehicle for investing together with the private sector in some strategic anchor industries which we've already identified.
He said the bank will be used as a vehicle in promoting local industries and charged the board members to formulate the necessary strategies. The minister was keen on building effective partnerships with local and international development organizations for resource mobilization purposes.
You can see from just scoping this framework that we are not joking. And as the president said, we are not joking and we are in a hurry. And I'm saying all this for you as board members, that you understand that the responsibilities that we are entrusting to you is very huge. And I also want you to understand the linkages between SME development and the 9 other pillars of our agenda. That's the only reason why I decided to introduce the entire program framework to you.
The board is chaired by Member of Parliament for Shamal constituency in the Western Region, Honorable Atu Panford. Its members include Kosi Echuwa Yankee, who is Executive Director of the NBSSI, Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa, and Ama Jemfua Abrifa, who is a legal practitioner.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has entreated the central bank to address the weaknesses in the banking sector. He was speaking earlier today at the 60th anniversary symposium of the Bank of Ghana.
The need to entrench reputation and credibility in the financial system is crucial. A weak banking system undermines growth. And on this basis, the current weaknesses in our banking sector need to be addressed forcefully to minimize any adverse financial consequences to unsuspecting savers and their spillover effects on the economy. My understanding is that a roadmap for addressing banking sector weaknesses is being implemented. I urge you, as the nation's central bank, to remain committed to the process and to address the challenges confronting the banking sector. This will not only guarantee financial stability, but also promote greater confidence in that sector. Your most recent measures in intervening decisively over the matters of UT Bank and Capital Bank demonstrate your preparedness to act in a manner worthy of a responsible central bank, of a praiseworthy regulator. I'm confident that you have the support of the nation.
Well, the president's address coming after what has been a very eventful week in the banking sector, with GCB taking over UT and Capital Bank. Now, the Bank of Ghana, we're hearing, has frozen the accounts of all the directors and managers of the two banks. It recently collapsed. So Central Bank was left with no choice but to revoke the license of UT Bank and Capital Bank, which were deeply insolvent. It later hinted that it would punish those found culpable after detailed investigations into why these banks collapsed. But on upfront Thursday, head of Bank of Ghana's Banking Supervision Unit, Raymond Amanfo, revealed the freeze is part of initial investigations the bank carried out.
What we have done in the course of this exercise is to block directors' accounts, is to block related parties' accounts, is to block key management staff accounts. Now, the reason why we have done that temporarily, I must have put the word temporarily, is that we have to examine those accounts from, let's say, a period.
Okay.
And then try to find out, are there any unusual transactions? If the unusual transactions, then it must be investigated.
What do you mean by unusual transactions?
Let's say that you are a director, and we see from the account, the only money that comes into your account is basically director's fee. Okay, let's say, I don't know exactly how much they pay, but if it is 5,000 per sitting, and then I see all of a sudden movement from the same bank into your account of, let's say, 200,000. I want to know why. What happened?
Okay.
Right? Or I want to see a narration in your account. Loan to Director X. Was the procedure for approval followed? Does it have a board approval? Did it go through the risk management framework? Is it consistent with the act that gives you as to how much you can lend to a director?
Okay.
It is a related company. Does the director involved absented himself from the meeting? Or did he excuse himself? Or did he fully disclose that I am an interested party in this company?
Has this been done for the two banks?
No, that's what I'm saying. That
there's currently a freeze.
There's currently a freeze, and we are going on it. I mean, the team from Bank of Ghana is there with the Pricewaterhouse. We are looking at this thing because, you see, they are not things that you can block for a long time.
Meanwhile, it is imagined that the Bank of Ghana may have spent over 5 billion cedis in supporting the bank said to be in serious financial distress. This is what Joy Business has picked up after going through the central bank's financial reports over the past 3 years. In dollar terms, this amount might be equivalent to over $1 billion. But are these banks in a position to even pay back these loans? We explore in this report.
A careful look at this financial report show that the current problems facing the banking sector in terms of concerns about their financial strength might have started around August 2014. This is because the support for banks shot up significantly from that time. For the purpose of our analysis, we focused on the bank loans from January 2014 to January 2017. The statements show that the support levels jumped from around 200 million cedis to over 1 billion cedis as of June 2015. It is not clear for now whether all the support went to the 9 distressed banks or the entire banking industry. Joy Business can, however, confirm UT and Capital Bank got significant amount of these funds to help them in their daily operations. 2 out of the 9 distressed banks were foreign-owned financial institutions. The banks also include one local bank, which recently saw a significant growth in assets for them to join the top banks in the country. This is how they can be categorized: insolvent banks, which is UT and Capital Bank, and significantly undercapitalized bank, which we would hold on to the names for now, and undercapitalized banks. There are also questions about the loans which were even extended to the banks by the central bank, with reports that some officials at the bank might have been compromised. Well, for some, just like one of the lines in Clef Jean's song, anything can happen, which says the record is not over yet. Maybe the sector's problems are indeed not over, at least for now.
Well, moving away from the banking sector to something more fun. Well, this year's edition of the Chalewote Street Art Festival climaxes this weekend. It has, in the last 7 years, provided an alternative platform that brings art, music, and dance and performance out onto the streets. Now, this undoubtedly presents huge economic opportunities to Accra's fishing village, Jamestown, the birthplace and venue for the festival. The question, however, is whether these activities must have boosted the local economy enough. Kuku Apia finds out in today's Special Friday feature.
So the annual Chalewote Festival is here again, and the Joy business team is in Jamestown to find out from the inhabitants what the Chalewote Festival brings to their local economy. The Chalewote Street Art Festival has fast become one of the biggest gatherings of individuals who create and appreciate arts and culture. It brings together thousands of patrons from all walks of life to the fishing town of Jamestown, essentially to enjoy arts and culture in various forms, including street painting, graffiti murals, photography, theatre, interactive art installations, live performances, extreme sports, fashion parades, music block party, and much more. So have these activities benefited the local fisherfolk in any way?
Chalewote participants, they come here to, see things, historical distance at Jamestown Beach. They don't normally buy fish, but at the outskirts on the road, they normally buy those crafts and so on, etc. Those people, it was those people who benefit from that is not a fish side.
Oh, Chalewote Festival is a very good thing for us, because we the Jamestown people, it's a day of happiness for us, and sometimes we see new things like arts and other crafts things, and some of our brothers who stays in our center, they also sell things for the foreigners, so it benefits us, and it's an important day for us, you know.
According to the chief fisherman Ni Okaishi, although the festival has brought some pride to Jamestown, the failure of organizers to engage the fishing community before, during and after the event has made it impossible for the natives to fully harness the economic opportunities.
The people of Jamestown, some are traders, so by all means, when it happens, they would like to come and display their wares just on the street, and people will be buying some of their products. But when you talk of fish, I don't think the people who come to watch come to buy fish at Jamestown. It do happen every year, but we, the chief fishermen of Jamestown, were not informed. So even in right now, when you ask me on which date is this taking place, I can't tell you, I don't know. The only thing is people who come to witness or who come to watch, some are from far away, and some maybe have not come to the beach. So what they do is they trek to the beach to come and have a look at how the beach is.
Some inhabitants, however, leave no stone unturned in cashing in on the surge in tourists and visitors during the week-long festival.
During the Chalewote Festival, the business costs fine. Because during
the Chalewote Festival, our business booms. We become very busy because some people not only come here to eat, but order some to take home.
Busy because I saw behind Bibia Pepe. Nasa omuba dokunu bi wo chinamdu bi wo obano na wabenya na wabetoko say Chalewote nuba.
It's good because sales double during that time.
Times 2
Aside such staple food vendors, the natives of Jamestown appear not to make the most of the business opportunities the festival presents, leaving a gaping question. How does the Chalewote Festival economically impact the lives of the people? Reporting for Joy Business, this is Kukwa Apia.
And I guess Jamestown is the place to be this weekend. Thanks to Kukwa for that great report. Now, we want to move on to our interview of the day. And while it appears persons who have shares in UT and Capital Bank may have to wait a long while before they can realize their investments, GCB Bank has already indicated it is not interested and has asked PwC, which has been appointed to handle the liabilities of the two collapsed banks, to deal with them. Former Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Edouana Nientri, has been shedding more light on this, and that's our interview of the day.
Interview of the day.
And if a bank is going to, not a bank only, if any company is going to liquidation, everybody knows that is the assets of the total assets available for disposal, which will be used to clear the debts of the company. If it is sufficient enough, is big enough to satisfy all creditors, then the balance will go to shareholders. But nobody can pinpoint that shareholders may get 20% or 30% or 100 or 150%, because everything that is left now belongs to shareholders who are the residual owners. You know, they get the after everybody has been satisfied, then they share the rest. So you may be hoping that you will get enough from the sale of these assets that the receiver is going to have.
So anybody who has invested, even for both the public and that's not a public company, you should keep your fingers crossed for a long while before you realize anything.
Yes, company. No, you don't say long. I'm saying it depends on the state of the assets. If the asset can be realized in a few months' time, fine. But if it would take a time to realize, but I was using this non-performance non-asset trust recovery. Even though we don't have a full report on what happened there, how long it took them to realize some of this assets, it would have been something good for us to be able to say that, well, in the circumstances what we had some previous time, maybe it took them about 9 or 4 or 3 years to recover all the assets. So we will be looking at something like that, but we don't have that. That's what I'm saying, that the assets must be recovered.
Interview of the day.
And as always, you can get updated on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. We'll see you next week on Business Live.